Haribo, Namaste, Krishna. Thanks for watching my Bhagavad Gita classes, very much appreciate it. So tonight we're continuing with Bhagavad Gita chapter 5. We'll be on text 12. So I'll just chant for a bit. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishnaste Bhutale Srimati Sirasarupananda Paramahansa Iti Namine Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishnaste Bhutale Srimati Sirasarupananda Paramahansa Iti Namine Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishnaste Bhutale Srimati Sirasarupananda Paramahansa Iti Namine Namah Sirasarupananda Paramahansa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Para Krishna Vistayate Namah Sirasarupananda Paramahansa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Para Krishna Vistayate Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Charine Devasesha Sunyavadi Askachare Satarine Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pacharine Devasesha Sunyavadi Askachare Satarine Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pacharine Devasesha Sunyavadi Askachare Satarine Asiko Bhaktivinoda Panchashi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Harita Karadara Asiko Bhaktivinoda Panchashi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Harita Karadara Asiko Bhaktivinoda Panchashi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Harita Karadara Asiko Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Nityananda Nityananda Gauranga Gauranga Nityananda Nityananda Gauranga Gauranga Nityananda Nityananda Gauranga Gauranga Nityananda Nityananda Gauranga Gauranga Radha Krishna Vrindavan 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 Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Sita Ram 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 Jai Ram Shri Ram Jaya Sita Ram Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajika Satara Satta Shishimad Jigakru Siddhasarupananda Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajika Satara Satta Shishimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoda Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Asadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Nitai Goswami Mission ki jai. Navadvita ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhana ki jai. Vrindavanam ki jai. Mathuradam ki jai. Mayapodam ki jai. Gangamai ki jai. Jamunamai ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shrimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Lord Ramachandra ki jai. Sitaram ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga, Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Amagyana Timarandasya Gana Gana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militanyena Tajmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Statpitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantekam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Lali Sahagana gosh. Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana. Wow, forgot it. Wow, man. Sorry about this. This is like, I'm not sure what's going on here. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhi Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Surudevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanan Pavenbhyo Vaishnavbhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. For speaking, first I offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of my spiritual master, Jagakuru Siddhasarupananda Srila Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada is the mercy manifestation of Lord Chaitanya, and is very dear to Radha and Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are like wish-fulfilling trees, able to fulfill all the desires of the fallen living entities, are full of compassion upon them. Haribol, Namaste. Thank you very much for watching and listening and studying Bhagavad Gita with me. I'm not sure what happened there while I was reciting the Mangala Charana prayers. the second and fourth line of the Vandeham prayer or mantra is a little bit similar. So sometimes I get stuck. So sorry about that. Anyway, they're beautiful, beautiful prayers. The Vandeham prayer, offering respects to our spiritual master, offering our respects to the six Goswamis, offering our respects to Lord Chaitanya and his associates, and then to Shishi Radha and Krishna and Lalita and Shri Vishakam. So yesterday, of course, was Lord Ramachandra's appearance day. And so last night actually I gave a talk on Lord Ramachandra and his pastimes in the congregational Kirtan program. They have a 3-day program celebrating the appearance day of Lord Rama. And so they very kindly asked me to talk on these different appearance days. And so this has been going on for, I guess this is the 4th year now. It all started during the pandemic. So anyway, if you'd like to listen to that, they have it on their YouTube channel and on their Facebook page. Of course, it's in with hours and hours of chanting, so you'd have to search for it. But I think oftentimes they, make it into a separate video. Anyway, so very much like the Ramayana and the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. So it's always a nice opportunity at the time of his appearance day to read and meditate upon the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra and Sita Devi. And of course in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 3, text 19, I think, Krishna makes mention of Janaka Maharaj, the father of Sita Devi, as an example of a person who achieved perfection through the performance of Karma Yoga, and setting a great example for his, for his subjects. He's the king of Mithila, and the father is Sita Devi, and he's a very pious king. And in fact, he's recognized as a great saintly person. There's a story about Janaka Maharaj, and he was famous as a saintly person, as a Raja Rishi, so a king who's also a Rishi. And so different mendicants would be intrigued, or how can a king who's so involved in worldly matters be a saintly person? This is like a bit of a mystery, so they're trying to figure this out. How's this possible? And I'm just going to find so I can tell the story properly. So, one time a wandering monk came to the kingdom, because he's intrigued hearing about Janaka Maharaj. Well, how's, like I was saying, how's it possible for a king to be a saintly person? So he comes and he meets the king. The king, of course, being a saintly king, always allows the Brahmana mendicants to come and see him, and so the wandering monk came and asked the king, Janaka Maharaj, he says, "O king, learned people speak highly of you. But how can you, a worldly man, be spiritually realized?" So he's like, it's kind of like, how does this work? Normally you think of a saintly person as being a renunciate. Either they're living in the forest, or they're a wandering monk, or they're living in a monastery or an ashram, and fully engaged in spiritual pursuit. And of course, in connection with Bhagavad Gita, of course, Arjuna he's thinking, he appears to be thinking like this too. He keeps on asking Krishna in chapter 3, in chapter 5, "Come on, Krishna, tell me, which one is better? This, performing action or renouncing, right? Taking to the path of Sankhya. Which is better? Sankhya, contemplation on spiritual truths and meditation and living as a renunciate, or is it better to be in the world and be active?" And of course, throughout Bhagavad Gita, Krishna answers this multiple times in multiple ways, trying to make sure the message gets through to Arjuna. And within in the Vedas, which is the Kamakanda section of the total Vedic literatures. So the Vedas, they're primarily about engaging in action, but to get some kind of reward. Ritualistic actions, fire sacrifices, or performance of duties, with the aim of some material benefit, some material benediction. I want to go to the heavenly planets. I want to get a better birth next time around. I want to get a good wife. I want to have good sons. So I engage in these ritualistic activities for the purpose of gaining this benefit. I live a pious life. But why am I living the pious life? It's because I want some return, want some materialistic benefit out of it. So, this is how, Krishna speaking Bhagavad Gita is at this time, a lot of people are performing action with what's known as sakama karma yoga. Sakama meaning they want some fruitive result from it. It might even be pious activity. It might be it's in accordance with the Vedic injunctions. And of course, in chapter 2, Krishna, basically condemns this kind of ritualistic action, of following the Vedic, the prescriptions of the Vedas. He says in various different verses, this is not the goal, right? So there's, on the one hand, there's like this performing action, but this performing of action is entangling. Then there's like renouncing, right? The Upanishads are very much renunciates, study of jnana, wandering menikas, living in the forest, right? Sannyas, seeking liberation. And they seek liberation through study and meditation and renunciation. So there's these two kind of paths. The Vedic ritualistic path, or performing prescribed duties to receive material benefit, or there's taking to the path of renunciation, meditation, contemplation, study, right? And not being active, giving up one's prescribed duties because out of a sense that they're entangling, right? So mukti, goal is liberation. So on the one hand, you've got the followers of the Vedas who are following them because they want sense gratification and better material situations, right? Which is kama, lust, selfish desire. And you have the liberationists who are seeking liberation to get free, right? So they're just not engaging in activity because engaging in activity is entangling, binds one to this world. So Krishna is speaking about a middle path, and this middle path is karma yoga, engaging in action but not being entangled. And so how is this? It's by not being attached to the results of one's activities. Performing one's prescribed activities. So in other words, it's performing actions in accordance with Dharma, which is the natural law, and the laws, both material society's laws and then the cosmic laws of the universe, or nature's laws, that there is righteousness, right activity, proper activity. Anyway, but performing this, not because I want to get some fruit or some result, but I'm performing it out of, without attachment to the results. I'm performing my duty because it is my duty. This is what I should be doing. And Krishna says repeatedly throughout Bhagavad Gita that performing action in this way, he describes in these early chapters, in chapters 2, 3, 4, and 5, the importance of karma yoga and non-attachment. And he's not, in these chapters, linking it very much to devotional service to himself. He's just talking about, and when knowledge is being talked about in these early chapters, it's mainly in connection with self-realization, realization that I'm Atma Tattva, right? And not the subject of Paramatma. It doesn't come up until even chapter 6 of the Super Soul. And Krishna is only very, in chapter 2, he mentioned that, that he should be meditated upon or served, 261. And then in chapter 3, there's some mention of himself as Yagna, the person who should be purpose of sacrifices. Chapter 4, in response to a question from Arjuna, Krishna begins to speak about himself quite at some length, and the reason for his appearance and how his activities and birth are transcendental, and that one who contemplates these or knows this in truth, is Tattva-vit, knows this in truth, will go to Krishna. But then Krishna then returns to the topic of karma yoga again. Later in Bhagavad Gita, then Krishna, in his discussions of the three modes of material nature, very much he discusses this kind of karma yogic action of performing action whilst being unattached to the results as being action in sattva guna, the mode of goodness. But in the middle chapters, Krishna makes clear, particularly in the chapter 9, that we should perform our actions for him. Krishna says, all that you do and all that you offer and all that you eat, do that as an offering for me. All that you give away in charity, do that as an offering for me. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yujtahosi dadasiyat yat tapashyasi kanteya tat kuruswa madapanam. Do it as an offering for me. So this is the highest form of karma yoga, where we're just performing actions out of love for Krishna as an offering to him. So there's a bit of a spectrum of karma yoga. The sakama karma yoga, where we're performing it out of desire for fruit of result. The nishkama karma yoga, where we're performing it out of performing action without attachment to the results. And then this gradually transforms into bhakti yoga, where we're performing action but out of love for the Supreme Lord and offering him the results. So anyway, back to Janaka Maharaj, whom Krishna gave as an example of a self-realized person who's achieved self-realization as a result of performing activity, in other words, performing karma yoga. So anyway, this wandering monk is asking, O king, learned people speak of you, speak highly of you. How can you, a worldly man, be spiritually realized? So Janaka Maharaj replied, Dear one, he's speaking very nicely, dear one, you should eat and take rest, and we can discuss it tomorrow. So we're going to have a spiritual discourse. It's late. You must be tired after your journey. Why don't please take some prasadam, and then you can rest, and then tomorrow we can discuss this. So the king took him, Janaka Maharaj took him to a very comfortable room and advised him to relax and sleep. And then when the monk looked up, so he's like showing him this comfortable room with a nice bedding, and showed him the bed, and so then the monk lies down, and he looks up, and he sees a huge sword hanging from the ceiling, just above the head. So in other words, it's like you're lying in bed, and there's a sword, a huge sword, not just some little sword, but a huge sword dangling above his head, just held by a string, right? So it's like dangling there, it's hanging there and dangling. He says, "Why is the sword hanging here?" Asked the perplexed monk, right? Janaka Maharaj then says, "Oh, I don't be bothered by it. It's been there for several generations. Over 100 years this sword has been there. So just ignore it. Just have a good sleep, and I'll see you in the morning," said Janaka Maharaj. So this he's just like nonchalant about it. "Hey, don't worry about it, man, it's cool." It's just a sword dangling over your head that could fall at any moment, go right through your brain, and kill you, right? But don't worry about it, man. So anyway, but then this wandering renegade, he's so worried that the sword might fall and kill him that he couldn't even close his eyes. He couldn't take his eyes off it. Oh my God, this sword is hanging there, or sleep. So of course he couldn't fall asleep. Didn't want to close his eyes. So of course he couldn't even sleep. He was worried about it. But this is like the Vedic tradition. He's been offered this bed, so to reject the bed would be an insult to his host, right? So he's kind of caught. What do I do? I have to stay here. But he's like, was so worried about it. So next morning, Janaka Maharaj comes in and inquired, "Sir, how was the night? I hope you slept well." And the monk said, "How could I sleep? There was this huge sword hanging over my head." Janaka Maharaj smiled and said, "When one knows death is certain, how can the pleasures of the world sway him away? How can worldly duties ever limit his eyes from the supreme goal?" So this is Maharaj, Janaka Maharaj, the Raja Rishi. He's fully aware of the presence of death and the certainty of death. Everyone is we're all spending our time avoiding thinking about death, trying to avoid the reality that's confronting us. So Janaka Maharaj is completely aware of death. And so, as a king, and of course living an opulent lifestyle, kings, Indian kings, great opulence, palaces, servants, soldiers, wives, children, etc., animals, etc., all very comfortable. But how could the pleasures of the world swear him away? How could his worldly duties ever limit his eyes from the supreme goal? The awareness of the fragility and true nature of life does not let me indulge in worldly pleasures. So he's aware of the reality of life. So anyway, this is Janaka Maharaj who's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So a little connection between the Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, and Ramayana. So anyway, if you're just tuning in now, of course we're mentioning this because yesterday was Lord Ramachandra's appearance day. So anyway, of course this chapter 5, that we're studying is about Karma Yoga. And so Janaka Maharaj is a perfect example of a karma yogi. Right? He's performing his duties in a detached manner. He's living in an opulent situation, but he's detached. So sometimes people wonder, well, what is this detachment, right? So non-attachment, detachment. Does this mean that you don't care? That you don't love anyone? No, it doesn't mean this. It means actually in many ways you care more. But you're not bound up. You appreciate the temporary nature of this world, the temporary nature of the relationships. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he describes, that when a son may die, you may have a son, the son dies. Well, then normally speaking, if somebody's son dies, the people become absolutely devastated. And this goes on for a long period of time. Many people never recover from it. They're just shattered. They're not able to function in the world anymore. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he advised that, one should, may grieve, for a period of a day or so. And then the next day one should be being aware of the nature of this world and the nature of life, and that the person hasn't actually died. Only the body has died. Just as Krishna is instructing Arjuna at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. The wise men don't lament. The pundits, those who know the truth, they don't lament neither for the living nor the dead. Arjuna is lamenting, he hasn't even killed anyone yet, but he's lamenting about that people are going to be killed, his family members and relatives. Krishna is trying to explain to him, no, you need to, even though this is going to happen, you need to perform your duty, you need to fight. You have to fight. So many ways Krishna is telling Arjuna to fight. But, so this is Karma Yoga. So this chapter 5, is about Karma Yoga. And we've been discussing texts 7 to 12, which is a little section of chapter 5, which is about working without attachment. So the last couple of verses we read in text 10 were one who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme God, Brahmani, is not affected by sinful action, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. The yogis, abandoning attachment, act with body, mind, intelligence, and even with the senses, only for the purpose of purification. And then text 12, the steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace, because he offers the result of all activities to me. Whereas a person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor, becomes entangled. Yukta kama phalam tyaktva shanti mapnoti naishtikam ayukta kama karena phale shakta nibhajate. Yukta kama phalam tyaktva santi mapnoti naishtikam ayukta kama karena phale shakta nibhajate. So yukta. So this word yukta is used throughout Bhagavad Gita extensively, and it's the verb root is yuj, which is also the root of the word yoga. So a yukta is one who is engaged in devotional service. This is Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's synonyms for it. Other synonyms are discipline, steadfast, fixed in yoga, one who's linked up in nishkama karma yoga. So of course in this section, this chapter, Krishna is speaking about nishkama karma yoga, performing action without attachment to the results. Karma phalam, this is the results of all activities, the action fruit or the fruit of action, the fruit of the work. And tyaktva, giving up or abandoning or having abandoned, having renounced. So yukta karma phalam tyaktva. So a person who's engaged in nishkama karma yoga or in devotional service, and who's abandoned the fruit of action. So generally speaking, we're also attached to the fruits of our activities. So here Krishna is describing one who's not attached. Performing the action because it's what should be done, what they need to do, what they have to do. It's the right thing. It's according to their situation within the varnashrama system. So it's what's also known as their swadharma, their duty, their responsibility, what they need to perform. It's just like, of course, in Arjuna's situation here, an analogy to his situation is like you have a police, right? Or there was a big mass killing in America. Of course, it's just ridiculous. Everyone's got guns. There's so many guns, just an insane number of guns, and semi-automatic weapons, even automatic weapons. Anyway, so this kid, he's on a bummer, goes into some high school in Florida, kills 20 people or more. And there's a security guard, he's got a gun. But he didn't want to go in. He didn't want to confront this guy. So then everyone is like, indignant. Well, that was your duty. That's your responsibility. You have this position. You're a guard, and your responsibility or duty is to protect the people. It's just like, if you have police, well, what's the duty of the police? The duty of the police is to protect the citizens. What's the duty of a soldier? So your country is being attacked, right? So naturally the duty of a soldier is to protect, to defend and protect. So here we have a situation, so this is Arjuna's natural duty. He's a kshatriya. In fact, Krishna says to him in chapter 18, doesn't matter where you go, Arjuna, you're just going to naturally be engaged in defending and protecting and fighting. It's just your nature. What to speak of this situation, the situation in Battle of Kurukshetra, is Duryodhana and his brothers and allies and so on and so forth. They're trying to usurp the kingdom. They're taking it from the rightful heir, Maharaj Yudhisthira. Maharaj Yudhisthira had already agreed to split the kingdom in half, even though this was, not correct. And then even the final offer that they made was that, well, just one village each. There's 5 brothers, the Pandavas. Well, we're Kshatriyas, we have to rule. That's just what we do. So let us rule one village each. A Duryodhana is like, no, I won't give you as much land as could be pierced by a needle. In other words, nothing. And why is this? Because no, he wants it all for himself. And why is he wanting it? Is he wanting to serve the people? No, he's wanting it for his own enjoyment. To be, greed and desire for power and lust and respect and to dominate and control others. And they were dominating, controlling, and exploiting, and killing, and harming others. So Arjuna is in this situation where, of course, well, he has to fight. To not fight, like as Krishna says in chapter 2, well, your enemies, if you don't fight, your enemies will just laugh at you, call you a coward. Though, nothing could be more painful for you than to be mocked by your enemies. So Arjuna's, he has to fight. But he should do, Krishna is saying to him, but you should perform this duty because it should be done. You should perform it without attachment to the results. You're not entitled to the results of your action. You're not in control of that. Providence or destiny or Krishna is in control of whether you'll get the results or not. But you should perform your duty without attachment to the results, without, and being equal. Samatvam, many of these classes I've spoken about the importance of equanimity. Being equal in happiness and distress. I mean, how many times does Krishna say that one should be equal in happiness and distress? Throughout Bhagavad Gita, it's at least 10 times, probably more. So this equanimity, this sama, this this is very important. So here Krishna is saying, also a yukta, one who's linked up in yoga, engaged in the yoga process, who gives up the results of activities. So tyakta means, it's renouncing or abandoning or giving up. It's not sannyas. Sannyas is sort of like an extra step where one actually gives up and one's position in society and just becomes a wandering mendicant. So tyaja or tyakta means just having been non-attached to the results, renouncing in that sense. But so then what is this person who's the yukta kama phala tyaktva, the yukta who's giving up attachment to the fruit? So what does he achieve? Shanti mapnoti nashtikam. So shantim, perfect peace. So shanti, perfect peace, peace or tranquility. And in the sense of liberation from the struggle for existence. Right? The struggle for existence, we're also struggling to get ahead. Like in Hawaii here, it's so hard to get ahead. To be able to buy a house or rent a house, or rent a room in a house. You got to struggle. There's so many homeless people who can't make it. For whatever reason, either they're, mental problems, drug problems, but that's only a portion of them. Some of them just can't make it. It's just too hard to make it. They don't have the ability to earn a good income. Anyway, so shanti, so apnoti means achieves. So he achieves or obtain or reaches a naishtikam, unflinching, final, complete, highest, definitive, steady, perpetual, lasting. So lasting or perpetual peace. If you perform your duty without attachment to the results, Krishna is saying you will achieve lasting, perpetual peace. Then Krishna contrasts with those, the ayukta. One who is not in Krishna consciousness, or this is Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada synonyms, or undisciplined or unfixed in yoga, unsteadfast. One is not so linked, who's performing their prescribed duty with material desire, the sakama yogi. One is not practicing yoga. The kama karena, for enjoying the result of work. by desire action, by action resulting from desire, because of the impetus of lust, by the action coming from desire. So Krishna is contrasting the Nishkama Karma Yogi and how they achieve perfect peace. He's contrasting then to the ayuktaha, the one who's not fixed in yoga, the one who's attached to the fruits of their activities. Phale, in the result or the fruit of work, saktaha, they're attached or clinging. This attachment, another synonym is clinging, right? Holding on, not letting go. Sort of like, it's like grabbing hold of the person of the feet, not letting go. I'm going to hold on. And nibhajyate becomes entangled. He's bound down, he's fettered. So what is this nibhajyate? We're entangled in this world. What is it that keeps us in this world? Why are we in this world? Right? And what keeps us here? In other words, I'm in the body. What keeps me reincarnating? What keeps me on this samsara, this wheel of birth and death? It's I'm entangled in it. Right? You are pure spirit soul. We are spiritual in essence. We are eternal spirit soul, covered by a subtle and gross physical body. But we're entangled in it. It's like bound up, caught up. Right? It's not like we can just go, oh yeah, okay, I'm spirit soul, I'm leaving. No, we're like entangled. And what is this entanglement? It's our attachment. We're attached to this body, and we're attached to our activities and the desires. Right? Why are we acting? We're acting to fulfill our desires. So these desires are entangling the nibhajyate. They're entangling us within this world, keeping us bound up. I have my desires, and I have to keep acting. I want more fruit. Right? We talk about fruitive activities, desire for the fruit. Well, it's like, I don't know about you, but like every week I have to keep working because I need more money. And why do I need more money? I need to buy stuff. Right? So it's ongoing. It's not like, well, we just perform some actions and now I don't need to do any more. No, it's ongoing. Right? So I'm always entangled in my activities. Of course, fortunately, being engaged in the service of my spiritual master, my activities are not entangling. But if a person is engaged in the service of my spiritual master and therefore in the service of Krishna and the spiritual master are non-different in this sense, then one's activities are not entangling. In fact, they're liberating. They will lead one to this perfect peace, this shanti that Krishna is saying. Naishtikam, shanti naishtikam. Right? Perpetual peace, permanent peace. This is Krishna has talked about peace in chapter 2, and then now he's bringing it up again now, peace. And at the end of this chapter, chapter 5, text 29, Krishna again gives what Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada calls the peace formula. That one who recognizes and understands Bhaktaram Yagnatapasam Savaloka Maheshwaram Suridam Savabhutanam Napamam Shanti Mrichate. So Shanti Mrichate attains peace. And who's this person who attains peace? One who recognizes that Krishna is the beneficiary of all action and all austerities, and that he's the Lord of all the worlds, and that he's Surit, the friend of all living entities. One who appreciates this achieves perfect peace. So here, even though Krishna is always talking about, nishkama karma yoga and non-attachment to the results, at the end of this chapter, he again makes clear, no. Really the point here, Bhagavad Gita is actually about bhakti, about developing love for Krishna. It's not really about karma yoga. Right? When Lord Chaitanya speaks with Ramananda Roy, asks Ramananda Roy to describe to him what's the goal of life, what's the highest goal of life. And Ramananda Roy starts describing karma yoga in accordance with Varnashram Dharma. And Lord Chaitanya says, well, yeah, this is okay, but it's external. Go higher. So this is not the goal of life, to perform karma yoga without attachment to the results. This is not karma yoga. Go higher. Right? And so Bhagavad Gita, it's described, right, as sort of like the high school kind of text where you're sort of like learning what the nature of this world and so on. And Krishna is describing many different yoga paths. Right? But the ultimate conclusion, what Krishna is teaching, his message is just surrender unto me. Love me, just think of me, become my devotee. Right? Bhakti. This is the message of Bhagavad Gita. So sometimes, particularly as I'm doing these weekly classes and it's like one verse at a time and and it's taking years, we can kind of lose the big picture because we're not studying the verses where Krishna just makes it clear what his real central message is, which is just love me, just think of me. Man mana bhava mad bhakta. Man mana, just think of me. Bhava, mad bhakta, become my devotee. Just love me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hi Bo, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening, putting up with me or spending your time with me. Thank you so much. Hari Bo, Krishna.